Hi, my name is Ken Walker, and I'm going to show you how to make monkey bread. This recipe is available on my website, and it's quite an easy recipe actually. There's just a few ingredients, and the directions are actually pretty short. You can see the ingredients here, yeast and butter, unsalted butter, sugar, milk. You also need a Bundt pan that's sealed. So you start off with the lukewarm water and sugar, stir it up, then add the yeast, 1 tablespoon, mix it all together, and let it sit. While that's sitting, you pour a cup of milk and half a cup of butter into that milk. You just kind of mix it up and melt it, not over too high heat. You don't want it to get very hot. You just want the butter to melt into the milk. Your yeast by now should look something like this after about 10 minutes. Into your mixer or into a large bowl, you're going to add the 3 eggs. Then you're going to mix up the eggs just to combine them, not for very long. Then you're going to add the melted butter and milk. You're going to add the sugar, the salt, and the yeast mixture. It's good to mix this all up for a little bit, maybe like a minute or something. Then you add 3 cups of flour and mix that all together. You can see I'm using the paddle attachment until the dough gets all mixed, and then I'll switch to the dough hook later. So I keep adding the flour up to 5.5 cups until it starts having a really reasonable consistency. Then I'm going to get rid of the paddle and switch to the dough hook. Scoop it off the bottom so it's ready to mix up with the dough hook. And then you add flour or water as necessary to make a nice consistency. It needs to be still pretty pliable and just a little bit wet. I switch to the counter and just knead the dough a little bit to have it give it a nice shape. You can see it has a nice shape now. It's soft. It responds well to a little puncture. Now I take a big bowl, put lots of butter in it, put the ball of dough into the butter, get it all oiled up, put some cling wrap or saran wrap over top. Timer, 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Okay, your timer is set for 1 hour and 30 minutes.
When it's done, it should be at least double in size like this. Now I need to melt the remaining butter. Again, not too hot, just get the butter melted. Now I'm going to grease that Bundt pan. Make sure your Bundt pan does not have any way to get liquid out, otherwise the butter will drip right off the bottom, cause a mess. Flip out the dough, give it a good spanking. And roll it out. Try not to roll it out too thin, but you want to roll it out well enough so that it's, between 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch thick. Then you just cut it into squares. Doesn't really matter what size. You don't have to be particular about it. And then you start dipping in butter. Let the excess come off and just drop into the pan. No particular pattern, just lay them all in there. It'll all work out in the end. And when you're done, it's all buttery, the dough is all covered, and it's ready to rise again. Timer, 1 hour.
Okay, your timer is set for 1 hour.
Keep checking on it. Oh, by the way, I'm making some multi-seed bread at the same time. It's rising just as well. When it's done, it should be just over the top, ready to put into the oven, which you've already preheated, right? So you cook according to the temperature, keep checking it, and it should be lightly golden brown on top. When it's done, it just comes right out, probably because of all the butter. And there you go. That's how you make monkey bread. Very easy.